Hey sweet spirit, Steffi Funk here with this week's episode of Urban Shamanism, where I give you the sacred tools to work with energy, your intuition, and higher self to clarify and manifest your divine purpose and rise as the light worker you were born to be, because the world needs it. And this week, I'm going to share with you a little story. It's personal history about me and why this story and this experience resulted in the single most powerful and profound spiritual lesson I have ever learned, and how that has affected my life for the better and allowed me to really step into my power and into my divine purpose, which is helping you manifest yours. So, just as a little background, I have spent my entire life seeking. I'm a seeker. Ever since I was a little girl, it was always about if I go away to college, then I'll be happy. If I move to Chicago and make great money, then I'll be happy. No, wait, that didn't work. If I move to Denver and get a completely different career, then I'll be happy. No, wait, that didn't work. Got married under the same pretense. If I get married, then I'll be happy, and found myself itchy and always looking for the next thing. And it really prevented me from ever being present to my experience as it was. So I don't know if you can relate to that. Just this constant sort of craving and striving and seeking and the grass is greener mentality. And it was like I was always living in the future and never fully present to what was. So this resulted in me getting a divorce and moving to Spain, because I thought for sure, if nothing else worked, if I at least moved to Barcelona, I would surely be deliriously happy. And what's shocking is this. I moved to Barcelona. I had everything I ever wanted. I was speaking Spanish. I had a Spanish boyfriend. I was living in this one of the coolest cities in the whole world. And I was miserable. And I could get into a lot of details about why it wasn't everything I wanted it to be. I just didn't have my creature comforts, and I had lived abroad before, but in this particular experience, living in Barcelona is not like partying in Barcelona, right? It required still doing laundry and grocery shopping and all of the things, and I was working in a job teaching English that I didn't really love. And the bottom line is this. I finally, in my bones, got the transcendental lesson that there is no magic wand to happiness. That's it. And it sounds depressing, right? It's like, well, shouldn't there be a magic wand to happiness? Shouldn't there be one thing, one key, one principle that I learned that then I will be happy? Especially for us spiritual seekers, right? But I am telling you, it was fucking liberating, because I no longer had to so fervently search and seek and crave and continue to make these big moves to try, and it was very disruptive, and it hurt a lot of people, right? Because I was never happy where I was. So you could never count on me to stay for long. I had really itchy feet. And when I finally realized there's no magic wand to happiness, that wherever you go, there you are, it was totally freeing. It allowed me to be completely present for the first time ever. So after that, I returned to Denver. I had a whole new love for Denver, because Denver was never good enough before. But then upon returning, it was like anything is good enough in the moment, because it's where I am. And there's no magic wand to happiness. And the reason why it is especially powerful when it comes to manifesting my divine purpose and to you manifesting yours is it allows us to stay out of attachment to the outcome. I am not under any delusion that because I'm now doing my life's work and my higher calling, that then I'll be magically happy, because I'll tell you what, it doesn't work like that. I love what I do, and it is still difficult. I still have challenges. It is, I mean, if anything, it's more fraught with challenges than ever because this is me on a platter, right? Like, talk about vulnerability and talk about the stuff that comes up when you're present to that. However, I wouldn't have it any other way. And the thing about it is that because I'm not attached to the outcome, I'm not under any delusion that, oh, if I get, 50,000 followers on Instagram, then I'll be happy. Or if I make $50,000 a month, then I'll be happy. I'm no longer under that delusion. So that frees me to just be who I am and follow my intuition 100%. There's no result that I'm looking for that is going to make me happy. So I do the work simply for the work's sake and no other reason. I do it because there's nowhere to go and there's nothing to do. So I might as well create what I want to create. Because when I think there's somewhere to go and something to do, it's very distracting, right? And I'll be constantly seeking those pleasures and that happiness instead of just completely being free in the moment to live an inspired life simply for the sake of doing so, because what else am I going to do? Might as well follow my joy, my inner compass of joy, instead of being attached to the outer happinesses, the outer compass of happiness, which is to me a false delusion. But our inner compass of joy is true. And it only works in the next right moment. So it's like, what kind of latte do I feel like having today? What brings me the most joy? And like making that decision in that second instead of living, in the future for some ideal that I am going to strive for, that by having, 30 non-fat lattes in 30 days, I'm going to lose 30 pounds and then I'm going to be magically happy. It just doesn't work like that. And so if your joy is to pick the skinny latte because that's what feels good in your body, great, follow that joy. So my whole point in saying this is that once you bust this belief that there is somewhere to go or something that you're going to do that's going to result in some sort of like magical elixir of like delirious joy, then it's like life always is enough. Life is always enough on life's terms, and you get just to like live in the magical moment that is, and really start to listen to this inner compass that will dictate your every next action. And when you do that enough times, listen, act. Listen again, act. Listen again, act. You will have created a life that works for you without thinking in an outcome results oriented fashion. You'll be thinking in a truly inspired, and there's like a way that I think of myself often, which is like, it's like I have an inner impulse. So it's not like I don't do anything, right? But this little inner impulse just moves me forward just a little bit at a time. And so I still achieve my goals and do wonderful things, but it's the motivation is different. It's inspiration instead of motivation, which is like a carrot out here. So I'd like you to try that on for size this week and start to think, this is your weekly inner shaman practice, what sorts of delusions have you had of if then? If I only do X, then I will be happy. And how can you question that today to free yourself to simply follow your joy in the moment and allow spirit to work through you in that way, your muses to sort of inspire you in that way, to then allow moment by moment unfolding of happiness instead of this forced, striving, chaotic, achievement-based, frenetic, striving, craving type happiness. So I would love to hear from you below an example of where that's shown up in your life or something that you can let yourself off the hook for to be fully free in the moment, to create what you want to create simply for the sake of creating it, because there's nothing else to do and there's nowhere else to go. Can't wait to hear from you below.